Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It has been quite a while since I last talked to y'all. It's been a year or maybe even a little over a year. My life looks completely different than it did a year ago, much like this room, which I'm going to share with y'all in a little bit. This room has been anything and everything in my house, and I thought it'd be fun to share that with y'all. But my life is completely different than it was last year at this time. I resigned from my teaching job. I'm no longer a teacher. I have gone back to school to get my master's as a reading specialist, so that has been a very big adjustment. I have an online business with my Teachers Pay Teachers, so I'm doing that full-time, which I was doing that full-time when I was teaching full-time. Now it's just my only full-time job and a lot more manageable now. And then I have the blog and my online book club, and just still busy as ever, but just a little more manageable and a little bit, easier to deal with everything. So I had planned on starting back with YouTube, like full-time, a new vlog, new video every week. When school started back and when I transitioned from being a full-time teacher to now from working from home, I thought I would finally have time to do YouTube and share with y'all and share about my classes and share about how I worked from home and how I have books to share and picture books and teaching ideas. That was the plan. I severely underestimated how much work grad school was going to be. I mean, of course, I knew it was going to be hard work, and I knew that I did not and I could not tackle a full load of grad classes and a full-time teaching job, and then my full-time teaching, Teachers Pay Teachers and blog and all that. I knew I couldn't do all of that, but I thought I would be able to do all of that and then share it with y'all. And y'all know how I love to do YouTube, but it's just such a time, it takes a ton of time to film and edit and all that. There was just absolutely no way. I severely underestimated the amount of work that was going to be with those classes. I knew it was going to be work, like I said, but the amount of writing that each one of those classes had, I had absolutely no idea that it would be that much writing. And a lot of it was interesting, and I learned a lot from my first semester. But there was just so much writing, and I hated all of the writing. There was a lot of what I call busy work and what you guys would call busy work too. I thought it would be, and I shouldn't have thought about this, but it's been like I graduated with my bachelor's in 2008. It's been a while since I remembered what college work was like. I just thought it was going to be all of these fun activities that you would be able to use in your classroom that would revolve around reading, and I thought it was just going to be reading a bunch of children's lit and discussing all of that. And one class was more like that, but the other ones were just so much writing. One was a theories class where I had to read, I'm gonna pop the book up here, I think it's Lens on Reading. Oh my goodness, that was the most boring book I've ever read. It was all about educational theories and models, and oh my goodness, we had to read that, and I never was able to squeeze in, because it was a big adjustment going from waking up at 3 a.m. and working on my Teachers Pay Teachers business, and then going to school and having a full-time job, and then coming back and working about 3 hours in the afternoon. It was an adjustment going from all of that to now doing Teachers Pay Teachers full-time, and then having grad school work. So I sadly I wasn't able to get YouTube going in the fall. But now it's January, it's almost February. Spring semester started last week, and the way that the spring semester is set up for me, I only have half of my classes in spring A and then half of my classes in spring B, so it's not as much of a workload all at once. So I'm gonna try and get back into YouTube, hopefully. So like I said, I'm hoping that I can share home decor, because I always love to share home decor with y'all, but I also want to share books and what I'm doing in my classes. I'm hoping that these classes are interesting this time. The two that I'm taking right now are not that interesting, but I learned a lot from a multicultural literature class. back last year that I really want to share about. So I thought it would be kind of fun to share about those types of things. So even though I'm not in the classroom, I'm still going to call it a teacher vlog. I'm still going to, well, I think I may, I don't know. I might come up with a different title, but I want to share teaching ideas because I miss doing fun activities, which I know it's all different. Last year it was different with COVID. I know that this year is just, I mean, I can't even imagine what this year is. But, you know, I do have last year to think about, and I miss doing all of the fun activities, and I know you guys do too. But, you know, hopefully it'll be better soon. But I'm hopeful that I can share some activities and ideas with y'all. Take y'all along on the creation process when I work on TPT resources, share what I'm personally reading, what books I'm reading. So still lots of things that I can share, and hopefully y'all will enjoy. So let me share what this room looks like right now. I designed this house. If you're new to my channel, I built my house and moved in the spring of 2019. This room was always going to be my office. I had 2 windows put in when I came up with the design, and then I had French doors. I always wanted this to be my office because it had natural light and it had the pretty French doors, and it was on the front of the house. So that was going to be my original plan. When I moved in, I decided to, there's a big bonus room upstairs, and it was always going to be unfinished. But when I started talking with the contractor, we decided to just go ahead and finish it while, you know, the drywall people were here, the painters were here, the floors, all that, because it would be cheaper and it would be a whole lot less trouble than trying to, you know, find people to do that on my own and have them come and, you know, trek through the house and, you know, dirty up everything with all of their tools and all of the construction. So I went ahead and finished the space upstairs, and that added about 500 square feet. It's a gigantic space. So when I did that, I decided to put my office up there, which is no longer there, and that room looks completely different too. But I decided to put my office there because it was such a big space, and I would have room to put like printers and bookshelves and things like that. So this room that I'm standing in turned into a dining room. I thought it looked so pretty as that, but it was just wasted space because I never used it. There's a little breakfast nook in my kitchen, and I always sit and eat there. I live here by myself, so there's, you know, there's not a big huge family to sit and eat at the dining room table. So even though the space looked pretty that way, it just was wasted space, and I didn't like that. So once I decided that it was just wasted space, I turned it into my office, which is what it was originally supposed to be. And I liked that, but I hated that it was here on the front of the house. When people came in, that was one of the first things you could see. And sometimes my office was just messy because I was right in the middle of creating something. And I just hated that it was such a pretty space that was so visible and always in a mess. So I decided to move my office upstairs. I love to move around and, you know, create new areas in my house. Y'all know that. So I turned this room back into the dining room. It was like that for Christmas. Then I decided I didn't want that, and I turned it into a parlor, which I had never had, like a little sitting room. That was a fun use of this space. I'm not a huge TV watcher. I much prefer to read, but I do like to watch football in the fall. I like to watch Alabama play, so I put a TV in here, and it was a nice little area instead of just like the big living room and kitchen that I have. So that was fun. But then the living room has never looked good because I had the big sectional in here, and I didn't have enough furniture to really fill out the living room, and I hated to buy something just to fill out the living room. So I've turned this into a little reading room, which is what it currently is now. I cannot guarantee that it's going to stay that way, but right now I love it because it stays neat and organized. There's not, like, it's not messy like my office was. I feel like it's not wasted space like the dining room was. I have a lot of books in here. I read in here. But then I also, you know, have my living room set up the way it is intended to be. So I feel good about this space, and I thought I'd share it with y'all. So here is what the front of the room looks like. I've got 2 bookshelves. These are the IKEA Billy bookcases. If you go back to one of the very first vlogs that I did, I'll try and find it and link it. When I moved in the house, I have a little room upstairs that I call my little library. That's where my office is now. When I was originally buying furniture for that before I even moved in the house, my plan was to do IKEA Billy bookcases. I bought 4. 2 of them broke in the shipping process, and IKEA was really good and worked with me and sent me 2 more back. Those broke as well, so they just ended up refunding my money for those 2, and the 2 that shipped and didn't break I kept. So they didn't work for what I wanted up in the little library. I had to get a local cabinet maker to actually make bookshelves for me, but I put these down here. They've been in the little library, they've been in the bonus room, now they're down here. But I thought they worked well here on either side of the door. They kind of look like built-ins. I would love to have actual bookshelves built here, and then over the door. I got an estimate for that though, and whew, that was way too much than what I wanted to pay. So right now the IKEA Billy bookcases are fine. Then I brought in this couch. I've had this couch since I lived at my first house. It was one of the very first pieces that I bought. It's not the most comfortable, but it works, especially for this space. And then I have this little sideboard piece right here. I got this at a local furniture store. I love this. I've had it for years. I don't know what brand it is. I wish I did. I love it. I've thought about painting it, but I don't want to ruin it. I don't love the distressed look, but I don't want to commit to painting it and then messing it up. So right now it just looks like that. It needs to be moved, the 2 books and this little notebook that I'm working with. But then I just have this little tray with a plant and then some books, and then let me see if I can get this and show y'all this. This is a Janet Hill picture. I love Janet Hill pictures. I'll link her down below. She's one of my favorite artists. I have her picture there, and then I've got another one over here. I just love these. And then while we're here, I'll just show y'all this little area. I've got a chair. This chair I think I've had since I lived in my first house. It doesn't exactly match this one though. Okay, so that's what it is. This one I've had since I first moved into my first house back in like 2014. It's slightly different. This one I got when I moved in here, so this one's slightly newer. So you can kind of tell it's not the exact same shade, but it works. It doesn't bother me. I would love a fun little quirky chair, but I want it to be comfy because I sit here and read a lot. So I just have a little throw and then a pillow that I got from TJ Maxx. It goes with those 2 pillows. And then I have this pillow that I got from Anthropologie. Oh goodness, probably 5-6 years ago. I have always loved that pillow. My mom hates it. She told me I paid way too much for it, but it has been everywhere in my house, my first house and this house. I just love that pillow, so I've definitely got my money's worth out of it. Then I have another plant here. Y'all, I have become obsessed with, are they called fiddle leaf figs or fig leaf fiddles? I don't exactly remember what the right name of them are. This one I almost let it die, and then I started taking care of it, and it's got new growth, so I'm doing very well with this one right now. This one is the same plant, but it's always been healthier. It's a smaller version, but I've rescued this one and it's coming back to life. But I have it sitting here on this bench. This bench my papa made years and years ago. He actually made it for my mom, but I stole it because I love it. My dad put this, I think it's called shellac. It makes it real shiny and I love it. I think the wood came out of my great-grandmother's house. I don't know, my mom would be able to tell me that, but it's always been one of my favorite pieces. And then I have a basket with a throw and a pillow, and then the last bookshelf, which I just love. I got it from the same furniture store that I got this piece from, but again, it doesn't have the brand, and I wish it did because I would love to buy another one. I just love this so much, but I just filled it with books. I love that I have so many books in this room. I love that it's just, you know, surrounded by books. Oh my goodness, you can tell that I have not filmed in a while. I'm just so out of breath and so out of practice from from talking on camera. I'm gonna have to get used to it all over again. But anyways, I don't know how long this is. This will probably be just like a welcome back. Here I am. Hopefully I'll be able to keep this up again vlog, and I'll just cut it off here. But like I said, there's been a ton of changes in my life, and I'm hopeful that I'm going to be able to get into a routine and share with y'all, because I want to, document this process, and I want to document this time in my life, and I want to share it with you guys. So fingers crossed that I'm able to keep it up. But I will talk to you guys hopefully in the next vlog.